Well, first and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakwah Kwadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work in true sincerity. And then we're going to jump right into the lesson. This is Proverbs 18:11. It says, "The rich man's wealth is a strong city, as a high wall is his own conceit." So the rich man is symbolic of Esau Edom. If you go to the Gospels in Luke, the 16th chapter, it speaks about the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, and that's basically symbolic of the elites, of those that have the rulership of this world. Their control, their power, because wealth is power. They think that they have a defense against the Most High. That's why I said the rich man wealth strong city, and his high wall is his own conceit. Let's get that in the NLT. It says, "The rich think of the wealth as a strong defense. They imagine it to be a high wall of safety." So in the book of Obadiah, it says, "The pride of the heart is deceived thee. All that dwells in the clefts of the rock." Let's go ahead and get that, man. So the rich man is symbolic of these elites, of those that oppose themselves against the Most High, that those that are puffed up with pride, of those that think they can outsmart and outwit the Most High with their left-hand technology. Let's go ahead and get that in Obadiah. But as you read in verse 12, we'll get that first. It says, "Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty, before honor is humility." So you can tell that the destruction of Esau Edom is near, because his mind or his heart is haughty. He's setting up this system for total control, and he thinks that he in his mind is 100% sure that he's going to succeed in his doings, and he is to a degree, because what puts him up is because he knows that we have no control over it. The so-called black and teal Native American, we have no control over Esau, rising up to power and putting forth his draconian measures and laws and decrees upon our people, and especially upon the men of the Lord. And the reason why we have no control is because this is all according to Bible prophecy. But he thinks he can circumvent Bible prophecy and pull a fast one on the Lord. And that's why it talks about conceit. That's why it talks about haughtiness. That's why it talks about destruction. It's before destruction, the heart of man is haughty. Before honor is humility. And before honor is humility, man. Who's the ones being humiliated right now? The so-called black and teal Americans, especially the men of the Lord. We are in that lowest state, and we are going to receive the honor for most high willing we are those men for enduring to the end. So we're going to get Obadiah. This is the book of Obadiah, the first chapter, because only one chapter. It says Obadiah 1 and 3. It says, "The pride of thine heart." This is specifically speaking about Edom, Esau Edom, as it says in verse 1. Edom will be humbled. That's the subtitle of the chapter. It says, "The pride of thy heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high." And that's not only literally, but symbolically. He has a high habitation, the fatness of the earth, the rulership. And he also likes to, dwell in these high-rise buildings and these other high places upon the earth. That says in the heart, "Who shall bring me down to the ground?" That's the exaltation. That's the false sense of security. That's the haughtiness that the book of Proverbs speaks about. He's basically, "Who shall bring me down to the ground?" Basically, he's challenging. He's challenging the Most High. Through his technology, through his technocracy, like the brothers like to call it. He's challenging the Most High, man. "Who shall bring me down?" Basically, he's thinking that nobody can oppose his technology or his wickedness to rule the earth. So let's go ahead and get Luke, the 16th chapter. This is Luke. It's a lot. This is Luke 16. It's about the verse 19. It says, "There was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen," and that purple is symbolic of rulership. So that's speaking of the elites, the Edomites, and spirit something every day, the fatness of the earth. That's what that is. That's the blessing of Esau, according to Genesis the 25th chapter. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at the gate full of sores. And that word Lazarus, it means whom God helps. So, who's the one that the Most High is going to help in these days? That's going to be the elect, because Lazarus is symbolic of the elect. Let's go ahead and get a scripture in the book of Psalms, a very present help. Because the Lord's going to deliver the elect, and He's going to secure the elect. In the time of Jacob's trouble, He's going to deliver the elect in the day of the Lord. What was I looking for? Salakia. So going to continue on the lesson, this is Psalms 46:1. It says, the chief musician for the sons of Korah, a song upon Alamoth, is Yahweh is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. So going back to Luke, Lazarus, it means whom God shall help. And basically that's speaking of the elect, man. Because the one that Most High is going to help in this time of trouble is going to be the elect. He's going to be a very present help in that trouble, Jacob's trouble. It says, therefore we will not fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried away in the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with swelling thereof. Selah. Basically, we're all out contention and calamity and evils upon the earth, man. Just the whole world being shaken up in that time of Jacob's trouble. The Lord is going to be a present help in those times. The Lord is going to be the shield, to be the guard of the elect. The elect are going to be in good case. Because if it was up to the so-called white man, to these Edomites, he would destroy all of Israel. And that's his plans. That's the plans that he has. He has the Georgia Guidestones, where you want to decrease the population. The major population he wants to decrease is you Israelites. He wants to do away with your so-called black Latinos and Native Americans, man. Those inoculations that he put forth out, that was to decrease the number of you Israelites. These deportations that you see, that's to decrease the number of Israelites. He wants to do away with the Israelites. He wants to do away with the so-called black Latino Native American, even though there's confusion in the face of Mongols as well. The majority of the Israelites are the so-called black Latino Native American. And that's what he wants to decrease, because we stand in the way of his power, in his way of his rulership over the earth, and he knows that. And that's why you see the things happening the way they're happening today. He wants to, and he's going to succeed to a extent, to a great extent. The Lord's going to allow him to practice and put forth his wickedness and his authority upon you, Jake, man. And in the form of mass death, in the form of you bowing down, in the form of you being taking that ship, being a slave. But there's going to be an elect that the Lord's going to help in this time of trouble. The spiritual Lazarus, whom God helps. Psalms 46:1, the Lord is a refuge and strength and very present help in time of trouble. In that time of trouble, and in that simultaneously, that time of trouble, the Lord is going to destroy the elites of this world. Let's go ahead and get Job 20:20. This is Salak. This is Job 20:20. It says, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. Oh, that's not what I want. 20:22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency. Let's get that word sufficiency. His hand clapping, his mocking, his scorn. So in his pride, thinking that he won, he shall be in straits. He's going to be in a difficult situation. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And because the Lord's going to destroy him with nuclear missile. When he's about to fill his belly, Jehovah shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. The fury of wrath is mostly going to be those ICBMs, the 200 million nuclear warheads that are going to destroy America, being shot from these countries around the world. It says that Jehovah shall, not only that, there's going to be earthquakes, calamities. It's going to be the laser beams from the chariots. It's going to be just all out terror. It says, he shall rain it upon what he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon. The bolt of steel shall strike him through. You can liken that to the ICBMs, the nuclear missiles. It says, it is drawn and comes out of the body. Yea, the gleaming sword comes out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. You know, the terror of the Lord is going to be upon this devil. You know, that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for our salvation. We're waiting for the Lord to take this rich man, to put him out of business, man, and restore the wealth of the world under the rulership of the righteous in the form of the kingdom here on earth. That's where the kingdom's going to be. The kingdom's going to be here on earth. But what we're waiting for right now is for the Lord to take this devil down. You know, he's going to be allowed to prosper. He's going to be allowed to put hell on the Israelites, including the elect, including the 1/3. But the elect and the 1/3 are already destined to endure that and go through it and come out victorious. Let's get Psalms 73 and 19. It says or is that what I want to know? It says 73 and 18. It says, surely thou didst set them in slippery places. So the Lord set up Esau to fail. You know, he set him up to reach a certain extent of fame and power, only to fall from that height. So thou cast them down into destruction. How are they brought to desolation as in a moment? They are utterly consumed with terrors, and those terrors, you know, once again, are likened to the nuclear missiles. Let's get Psalms 78. Psalm 77, yeah, it says, I cry, and this is the prayer of the elect. I cry unto you my voice, even unto you my voice, and he gave ear unto me, because the Lord's going to hear the cries of the elect in that day, the cries of the righteous, the 1/3 in that day. In the day of my trouble I sought the Lord, my sword ran into the night, and seized not my soul, refused to be comforted. I remember Yahweh and was troubled, I complained, and my spirit was overwhelmed. Thou holdest mine eyes waking, I am so troubled that I cannot speak. It's going to be a horrible time. It's going to be a horrible time, man. You know, it might get to the point where you feel that the Lord has forsaken you. But the elect are going to endure that test, man. Let's go jump down to 14. It says, thou art the power that doest wonders. That's that help, right? That great help. You know, going back to Lazarus, the one whom God helps. Thou hast declared thy strength among the people. Thou with thine arm redeemed thy people, thou sons of Jacob and Joseph Selah. That's basically the northern and southern kingdom, all of Israel. And so we're waiting for that, man. We're waiting for our salvation to come. And we're waiting for this devil to be taken down. Let's go ahead and get Nahum 1 and 10. It says, why do you imagine against the Most High? He will make another end. Affliction shall not rise a second time. So this is the final countdown, so to speak, man. This is Esau's last attempt, last try, last bout of bringing forth his rulership upon the earth, his authority upon the earth. It's going to be done with after that. While they be folded together as thorns, and while they are drunken as drunkards, they shall be devoured and stubble fully dry. There is one come out against you, the man's evil of the Lord, a wicked counselor. Well, that's the point I wanted to get at verse 10. There's utter destruction. The scriptures repeatedly speak about that utter destruction of the wicked. The utter destruction in the time of his height. He will be destroyed. That's the greatest revenge, man. The Lord knows how to knows how to plot revenge. He is the ultimate supplanter. He is the ultimate Jake, like they say. The Lord knows how to put on a show to glorify himself and his name. And we're going to see that glory come to pass in the days to come, man. You know, and that's what we're waiting for. You know, waiting for this devil to be brought down. You know, but also in the midst of that, you're going to see his wickedness and his system and his authority rise and persecute the men of the Lord. You're going to see that. You know, like they say, you got to go through it to get to it. There's a lot of things that men of the Lord are going to experience. A lot of unpleasant things. But at the end, ultimately there is salvation. With that being said, Most High win is edifying lesson that will give our honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Brothers keep on pushing. Shalom.